So good afternoon, Andy. How are you doing? And this is we survived to episode 2 of what we are now calling Classic Talk. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. It feels like I'm in prison.
Yeah, it does,
and
doesn't it?
I, I actually sat in my car in the front of the house before. Um, just I don't know, just going through my phone, and because of the shade inside the car, it kind of like well, I was outside, but I was inside, but also in my car and on the drive. So it kind of was a bit weird. I started the engine, so the engine started first time, which is a bit boring because then I could have got out, done something with it, tinkered, and then got back in it again. But no, it started first time. So yeah, all good apart from feeling like I'm in prison. Yeah. So there you
Yeah,
go.
similar. Well, at least you managed to get into the car. I mean, I've not really got much able to do that because obviously mine's still with the restoration garage, and yeah, it just doesn't feel the same when it's a modern car, does it? So I've not even washed mine because yeah,
Yeah.
there's no incentive whatsoever to do. So
Is there anybody? Is there anybody at the garage that could take a photograph for you of the car at different times of the day?
I could actually probably ask the owner to do that, and that's something to talk about next week, sorted, isn't it?
You can pretend and then just walk around. It's like a virtual. So if you've got a virtual reality headset, you can pretend to
Yeah,
walk around your car.
I'll just take loads of pictures of it and stick them to like the cardboard box cut out of the car and put that in the garage. That's yeah,
Here's a reminder of the rust that was on it. Here's a reminder of the seam weld behind the door. Yeah.
yeah,
No, it's been one of those kind of funny week because I spent one of the things I was doing this week. A friend of mine in Essex has got sorry, Kent, I think he lives, and he's got a thing called a big. Sorry, I get the name right. Biagini Passo is called. The Biagini Passo was basically a VW Mark One Cabriolet Golf on a VW Golf Synchro Country chassis, and they're made in limited numbers in Italy by a company called ACM under the name Biagini Passo. And he says, I've only got this ACM chassis number. Can you find out, is there any more details that I know of that I could find through VW people about trying to get it registered? So I've tried everything to try and find this company. ACM gone bust. Biagini Passo doesn't exist. I'm now down to a dealer in Germany that used to import them. But of course, there's nobody there. I've
yeah,
been trying to contact the VW Museum. There's nobody there either. So even on the scale of trying to do just research, like for the sort of stuff that we do,
yeah,
it's becoming impossible unless you've got a book. Do you remember those things? Books. And nobody has. There's nobody in the right place to do some of these things. In the
yeah,
same way, I'm trying to get some paint from a car in the garage, and of course, although hardware stores are allowed to open, B&Q I think is just about to open some more shops rather than just online. I just can't get any paint to paint things that have disassembled, and now I don't want to assemble them again because then I need to paint them first. So
yeah. So
I'm in limbo.
yeah, it's not easy, is it? Yeah, I think I'm probably at the stage now where I'm looking at tidying the garage. That's probably as close to car-related stuff I can do
Yeah,
at the moment.
done
Um,
that. It's got messy again now. So
well, there you go. When you're saying about getting in touch with people, is it well actually when I've been doing stuff for the paper this week, you do realise just how difficult it is to contact people. What you take for granted is that when we're not social distancing and lockdown, is you ring a phone number, someone picks up at the other end, and it does sometimes make gathering stories quite difficult because there's just not people there to speak to.
yeah, well, it's the same with some of the TV things that I do. There's people that were on 5 days a week and now being on 4 days a week or 3 days a week. Stuff's being made, but everything's kind of reduced level of employees because there's no money changing hands, no new contracts and stuff. It's all right if you're Netflix and that kind of thing, or if you've got something already made and produced. But there's a big hole on stuff, and but yeah, it's just this furloughing and companies, even once we start coming out of this, it's just going to take a while before people get up to speed. There'll be
Yeah,
you'll be on the phone with your garage, and there'll be a big queue of people who have
yeah.
disassembled their cars over the lockdown, can't put them back together, and now they'll be joining the queue in order to get them put back together again. So you better make sure that your car is somewhere at the top of that queue. I think that's what you need to do, just in case.
Definitely get it at the front of that queue. Definitely. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're up to at the moment.
Yeah, well, at the moment, my car's sat at the front of the house, and there's a thing at the moment which is this idea of classic car shows, but based at your home.
Yeah.
So I noticed that the drive it day, that's now going to be put your car out on your drive day, sit in some deck chairs with a flask of coffee, and sit there with your car day. I think that's basically what it's becoming. So people are kind of walking past or cycling past, or having the dog hooing outside your driveway whilst you're sat there with your classic car.
Yeah,
It's
that's
that.
quite a nice idea, that, because the whole point of Drive It Day is that you make people smile by driving past in your car. People like to see them, so it's sort of doing that because it's on your front and people are walking past your house. So yeah, it's the best way to get in a bad situation at the moment, and I actually think it's going to turn out to be quite fun for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I did something with, there's a group up here called Scotch Piper Classics in Lancashire, and they were on Practical Classics top 10 clubs last year. And Scotch Piper, they normally meet at this pub once a week, and we've had a meeting the other week whereby we were just basically arranging a time to post photographs of the car, and then if you could go live, or sorry, not live, if you could, record something 30 seconds, a minute of your car, and then post it on there, and then people would comment. So it was like a little meeting. You knew that everybody was there at that time, and some people had photographs or a little story or something they were doing, or this new hazard light I've fitted, or whatever, this hazard light switch I've fitted, here's a picture of it, kind of thing. It was that kind of experience. But yeah, stuff's happening. There's people, like I said, people taking the cars apart on the driveway, and I saw a picture today of somebody that I know with a Toyota Hiace. No, not a Hiace, a Town Ace. And he's had the windows out. He's been doing all the rust around the edges. He's got the rattle cans to kind of do all the remedial work and respray and that kind of stuff on his drive. And he had a photograph of deck chairs by his car. So he's basically sitting there enjoying the sun and doing bits on his car, and everyone's happy.
Brilliant, definitely.
There's stuff happening. So
yeah, and you've been doing some stuff as well.
On mine, yeah. Well, like I said, it's trying to get bits of paint. At the moment, I've taken. This is what I said to you. I've been taking bits off.
Yeah.
I've been rubbing them down and just been preparing them, but I've run out of paint. So that's the key thing. There's a door that I want. I need a new door for the Volkswagen Iltis. I've found one in Stuttgart for €50. It's going to cost me €150 just to get it to my door. So I'm just contemplating that at the moment. It's it's new old stock, €50. Is it worth the postage? I'm trying to weigh that up. But
yeah, it depends if you can get it elsewhere, doesn't it? Because at the end of the day, if it's all you can get your hands on, then you're stuck, aren't you? It's one of those.
It's half the price what they normally are, but I'm quite happy about that. But it's just German prices for mailing and shipping and stuff. They're extortionate.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things. But I'm not going anywhere, so.
Yeah, it's looking at it that way.
But you want to be ready. You want to be ready in case you need to go somewhere. So
that's true.
I mean, I had a discussion. I finally got through to the DVLA this week. So
that brilliant.
Means they've got my application for the historic tax change on the documents from a car. So the V5 went in about 2 weeks before lockdown. They expected it back. It didn't come back. They've got it. They don't see a problem with it. It's just on the pile, ready to go for when they've stopped dealing with HGV, priority kind of stuff and things like that. But it's not an issue. But once the season starts again, then I'm ready to go. But when is this season going to start? Is there going to be a 2020 season for car people to go and enjoy events? I've noticed an event. There's an indoor event for August in Liverpool for modified cars, and it's called Ultimate Show, I think it is. And that's now been moved to October. And I think Stanford Hall VW event has moved from May to September, I think. But again, we don't know whether we're going to be able to do anything in that season, even in autumn. I think we talked about that last week. You know, who knows when this is going to start. Small events where you've got people shoulder to shoulder are going to be a pain. Outdoors, you hope that outdoors you've got enough distance between people. But I don't know. What have you been working on? You've been working on anything this week?
Wrote an update on the ZA for our classic section of Classic Car Weekly, which should go in early next month. And the update was basically I managed to fit a new fuel pump, and then it went off to the garage, and now I'm here. So it's a few more details than that, and a couple of pictures on the update as well. So that's been my week.
I did an update on mine, which I think in January, I think it was. So I just need to pull my finger out to try and sort of get another one written for the Iltis, actually. I think I've had 2 updates in it so far for our classics and Classic Car Weekly. But it's, I mean, I've got stuff to write. The stuff I've been doing, so that's all right. But yeah, it's just pulling my finger out because this morning I spent some of the time putting some decking oil or something, whatever it is, on the patio back of the house. So I ended up doing that. So it allowed me time to get the car out the garage and drive down the driveway, which is about, I don't know, 100 yards, 50 yards, something like that. 100 yards sounded like I live on an estate, didn't it?
I wasn't going to say anything.
So I'll have to work out now. I need to. Yeah. This is what these times are like. I've got to now think in my head and work out what is 100 yards. How long is my driveway? But yeah, it's quite. You can get it up to 20 miles an hour for about a second, and you're good then.
Well, while you're doing your maths and working out how long it is, let's have a look at the video that you did earlier.
Yeah, cool. Cute.
So a quick tour of my crazy little VW. Not that one, but this one. It's a 1979 VW Iltis, and this one, these models are actually, this originally started ex-military and famous for being the starting point for the Audi Quattro four-wheel drive system. And one of the design team was Roland Gumpert, who went on to start with the Audi rally team from 1980 to 1986 and the famous Group B Audi Quattro rally cars. And this basically is the starting point for the Audi Quattro. This one's ex-military, as I said, and in 1980 the military ones, civilian ones, were basically very similar except for a few little bits and pieces and different voltage. But basically they took them off the production line and entered them for the Paris-Dakar in 1980 and came first and second. Just with different carburettor and a few other little bits and pieces like stiffened suspension. So it's a quick start up. We've got an isolator key back here, and then we've got another one down here. Just a little bit of choke. Politically, they're a Volkswagen, but actually pretty much everything on these cars is designed by Audi and put together by Audi at Ingolstadt. So, okay, so here goes. Always starts first time. Previous owner in Belgium had actually spent €2,000 in getting it running right. Engine's a 1.7, basically a Golf engine, which actually this variation was used on the Dodge Omni, which is the American version of the Chrysler Horizon. So there you go. Or was it the Sunbeam? One of the two. There you go, quick startup of my 1979 VW Iltis.
So we're back.
What do you think of the VW Up? Is that a future classic?
You know what?
I don't know.
I think definitely. I'm going to make a really, really embarrassing admission now. And the car I learned to drive in was a Volksworld. Do you remember the really boxy, almost exactly square cars? And I absolutely hated it, as you would when your mates are all driving around in things with a lot more street cred than a Volksworld or Gila. And I'm not suggesting the Up in any way is in the same league at all, but what I am saying is, looking back, actually, the Gila is one of those sort of, it's so crap, it's almost going to become like a cult thing, I think, in the next 5 years or so. And yeah, and I also think, as well as being named after an absolutely brilliant film, the Up is probably not quite in that category, but it's certainly in a car of interest in future down the line, definitely.
I tell you what it's like. It's like a 1980s Polo.
Yeah.
Right. It's like that, and I've had one of those. I had a coupe, which was actually appeared on Top Gear. Here's a bit of a trivia for you. It was actually on Top Gear, and Chris Goffey borrowed it for he took it to Oxfordshire from Wigan. He borrowed it he basically drove down a lane, and then the camera panned, and it turned into a brand new. Is it the N series 1996, 95 VW Polo? And it changed just the car moved across the screen. And so Chris Goffey drove it apparently, and then brought it back. But yeah, it reminds me. The Up reminds me of one of those. Really, it also reminds me a bit like ETI. It's nimble. It's it's not fast. 1 litre engine. It's all right, but they're screwed together okay. I think they're screwed together in Czech Republic. I think the VW factory there. But it's just, at the moment, it's just a run around, and who cares at the moment?
Exactly.
That doesn't make a difference. It's a level playing field at the moment. But no, it's a good little truck deal actually. I like not a big car, but that's next. I'm waiting till this all ends, and then I'm going to be upgrading possibly, but I don't know. But we'll have to see. What happens.
Definitely. It's just depends what's around the corner. I don't think any of us really know what our requirements are going to be really when this is over with travel.
There's the metaphor fails. Yeah, the metaphor fails already because you say it's whatever's around the corner. We can't even get around the corner in it.
We can't. Oh, of course, yeah. And it's also
not in an essential way.
No, and it's also using a cliche as well, which is a big no-no. So I definitely.
Just switching around to Car SOS, which I was watching the other night, is the idea that cars mean a lot to people, and so some people it's a way of escaping and getting out. And in terms of mental health and stuff, if you go for a drive in your car, classic, whatever it might be, it's a way of escaping. It's a way of getting away from things, and a lot of misery and stuff that's happening at the moment. People can't use that as an outlet. Yes, you can walk. Of course, you can walk.
Yeah, but it's different, isn't it? It's like going for a run, going for a walk, doing what you do. It all helps, but there's just something to be said for occasionally just jumping in the car and just going for a drive. I mean, not necessarily even in a classic, although obviously really helps. When I used to drive around in the midget, that would just instant smile on your face. And like you said, people can't do that at the minute. So yeah, it is tough for people not having just that extra. It's an outlet that I think you take for granted when it's there. And then when you haven't got it, it's suddenly like, oh yeah, I'm feeling this.
Yeah. So fingers crossed, eh? Hopefully we'll only have another couple of months.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And then hopefully I'll have my classic back soon, so I can, when we can go out for a drive, it's actually there for me as well.
Yeah, just imagine how disassembled people's cars are going to be.
Oh, it's going to be brilliant, isn't it?
People are thinking, oh, everybody's going to roll out the garage. It'll be like chitty chitty bang bang, and the car comes out of the barn doors open, and there's this wonderful classic. What have you been doing in the garage, love? Oh yeah, well, it's in bits. Anyway, we'll have to see.
Yeah,
maybe that's something modern magazines can pick up on is disassembled cars that you couldn't put back together during lockdown.
Yeah, and you could even print guides of how to do it as well, just like like the IKEA picture diagrams, is like putting the cars back together that way.
Yeah. Maybe like that. If it's like a garage scene, is probably a bit like, you remember you used to get the do you ever do plastic model kits?
Yeah.
You used to take the lid off the box, and you had these trays of parts all on little bits of plastic you had to sort of unscrew off. Some garages are going to be like that, with just wheels and bits all over the place, just exploding everywhere. So anyway,
The first one of those I ever did was an E-Type, and I didn't wait for the glue to dry before I tried to paint it. So that was interesting when I finished it. Yeah, certainly a bit of a shambolic paint job on that, but I was proud of it nonetheless. Yeah, it's the closest I'll ever get to owning an E-Type as well.
Anyway, my battery's just gone down, so my battery is completely on its last legs. So I don't know whether you can still see me or not. So
I can still see you, but we could call that a good time to wrap up and reconvene next week.
Yeah, let's pull the plug and talk next week and see what happens in the meantime.